Welcome to Sampstra Games, the place to find new strategy games. And don't you miss rolling a dice? Now in these little games, video games, we no longer roll the dice like we do with board games. And this game doesn't really attempt to change that, but this game uses dice a lot. Now this is a tower defense with a twist, where you need to power up your towers with dice. So we're going to be playing Dice Defenders today. This is a pre-release version, so there might be some slight changes by the time the game releases, which is on 28th of September. And we're going to start off by playing the Spiral. So like I said, this is a tower defense with a twist. What does that mean? Well, what it means is that you place towers, but in order to activate your towers, you need to use dice. The way this works is that a tower rolls the dice in it, for example, from 1 to 6. And it rolls, for example, 4. And the enemy also has a number associated to it. So when you meet an enemy who matches the number, so if my tower which rolled 4 meets an enemy with the number 4, it will lower his HP by 1, which kills him, usually. So you kind of need to match the number on your enemy in order to kill him. If you have an enemy with the number 1, it's not going to matter. It's just going to pass the tower. And the tower rerolls every time depending on its sort of attack rate. And every time it rerolls, it kills enemies. So this is essentially what I just described is the way the precision tower works. It's just going to shoot and that's it. But then we also have other towers. So what I'm going to be placing down is a burst tower. And what burst tower does is it rolls. But it rolls, for example, 4, like we said before, but instead of just killing enemies with the number 4, it has a sort of like a spread. It kills enemies with, I think, +1, -1, so it's going to go from 3 to 5. So that's really interesting. So you can kill more enemies with the same hit. However, it doesn't shoot as often. So another very interesting thing with this game is that each tower has a sort of shape. And you can change the shape if you change the size. It's going to make the tower a little bit more expensive, but it is going to change the shape. So that's pretty interesting. So for example, I could use this if I wanted to have like a pretty long time where I can hit the enemies while they move down here. But I'm going to start off with just the size 1 and I'm going to place it over here. So I can kill the enemies when they're moving down here or up there. The lighter blue is the enemy area. Then we can place some more. Then we can have freezing and sabotage tower. Freezing tower, what it does, it makes the enemies go slower, so you have more chances to hit them. And sabotage tower is very fun. Sabotage tower, what it does, it makes enemy vulnerable. What does it mean in this kind of game to make an enemy vulnerable? Well, what it means is that it sort of increases the spread on the enemy side. So if an enemy is vulnerable but has a number of 4, again, let's say, it will also get hit if you have number 5 or 3. So it's sort of like spreading it on the enemy side, not on the tower side. So then you can combine the spreads to do some damage. However, I'm just going to go with the basic burst towers for now. Maybe we could have like one of size of 3. Oh, it does something like this. Well, that's kind of useless for me. So it's not always good to have a bigger size. Let's go with 2 like so, I think. And we can also do an upgrade. So if I click on this tower, you can see the information I have. So right now there's no minimum and maximum because I have no dice in it. But I could, for example, upgrade it so it hits more enemies. So I'm going to do it. So now this is going to hit 2 enemies with 1 hit. Now next up, you want to place the dice. We want to have an option of 4-sided dice, 6, 8, 10, 12 and 20. If any of you played D&D or are familiar with this, if not, it's just the highest number that you can roll on the dice, and the lowest is always 1, essentially. Okay, now you can click on the wave statistic, which is going to tell you information about the next wave. So on the next wave, we get enemies from 1 to 6. And this is the frequency. The frequency is not that important. I mean, yes, it is important, but I don't want to overwhelm you with numbers because this is not necessarily about numbers, though it is a little bit. It's still a tower defense game, and I don't want it to seem overly complicated. So we get enemies from 1 to 6. I'm going to grab this dice, place it here, and this dice, place it there. And you can now see that we have 1 to 6. Now the absolute is going to tell me, let me actually call the wave while I talk to you. It says 1 to 7. That's because we have that spread +1, -1. And you can see that when we get the right number, we can sort of grab the right, it sort of turns it into the orange thing and sort of pulls it into the tower. So this tower is doing really well so far. because we have that spread, which is quite nice, and we can hit 2 enemies with 1 hit. So for example, if I get a 3, I can take both the 4 and the 2 at the same time because I have that spread. Now this one has the same spread, but this one can only hit one enemy. So if we get 3, we can take the 2 or the 4, but not both at the same time. So that's a pretty important thing. Up here we have health. Now the health in this game regenerates, and the reason for that is because this is based on dice rolls. It can sort of give you sort of random result. So the game sort of allows you to kind of regenerate some health to sort of make up for that. Okay, so we've got 160 gold. We can place some more towers, or we could try to upgrade them. I'm gonna place a sabotage tower because I really like it. And this is not a great thing for a sabotage tower. But I guess I could place it like this. Or like so. Maybe like this. Yeah, that seems to work. And the sabotage tower, like I said, is going to increase the range on the enemy. So for example, if I roll a 4 now, I would normally get an enemy with a number of 5 or 3, but if an enemy who has a 6 is vulnerable, then I can hit him as well, because he's going down to 5 and I can hit people with 5, which is great. I'm also going to upgrade this tower to get a better attack spread, so that it now has a spread of 2. So for example, if I hit 4, I can hit enemies with 5 and 6, and 3 and 2, ignoring any vulnerability that... Ooh, okay. So, I didn't place a dice over here, which is a bit of a problem, so let me place an 8 dice. Oh, I can't... Yeah, let me place an 8 dice there. It's a bit of an overkill, because if I roll 7 or 8, it's not going to do anything. But, yeah, that was a mistake. I should have placed it there earlier, but, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so we are hitting some of these 6s, especially because they're vulnerable, I think, and we did it. Each tower also have a special power that you can, if you see this bubbling, you can right-click to use it. And yeah, and you can sort of, you know, like hit more enemies or make more enemies vulnerable and stuff like that. Now at this point things have changed. The next wave has a number from 1 to 8, so we gotta make sure that we remove the dice where we have them, and we gotta make sure that we make it work. So we have 2 8 dice, so I'm going to place them here and here, and now we're in trouble, right? Because here we'd have to put 1 to 10, and I don't want to do that. But we can also place 2 dice with the number 4, and if you have multiple die, then it sort of creates a sum of that. So if you roll 1 on each, so the slight problem here is that the minimum rolled is now 2, but because we have the spread, it's not that big of a deal. So let me just upgrade this, and we're also going to upgrade this one. Now once you upgrade all of the basic upgrades, so we can now hit, I think 3 enemies it was, correct? Oh, we can actually hit 6 enemies per roll, because you start with some basic number of enemies that you can hit per roll with the burst tower. It's not 1, it's more than that. So now we can hit 6 enemies per roll, and we have attack spread ±3, as you can see over here. Attack speed is 3, and now we can get another upgrade which is going to increase our speed and our range. So let's do that, and then increase our range to the sort of darker blue that we saw from the beginning, so we can hit enemies a little bit more. We could also upgrade the vulnerability tower, which is like the sabotage tower. We can increase attack speed or number hit. Let's do number hit and 1 attack speed. Yeah, why not? And let's call the next wave. Come on, waves, let me destroy you. And you can see that this tower is now going very, very well. You can take a lot of enemies. Especially with the vulnerability, we get a really great spread. So even if we don't roll so well, we can kill a lot of enemies. Now, another thing I was thinking when I was playing this by myself was, is 1 to 10... Okay, so let's say you have enemies from 1 to 10, right? And you can have a 1 die that goes from 1 to 10. But it might be more interesting to have a die that rolls from 1 to 8. And because of the spread, you can still kill the... let's get another way. You can still kill all the enemies that are going from 1 to 10, because if you roll an 8 and you have high enough spread, you still kill enemies with number 10. And you're more likely to get the sort of numbers in the middle, because, for example, if you have a die from 1 to 10, your probability of getting something like 5 is 1 of 10. But if you have 1 to 8, then the probability is only 1 of 8, which is better. But if you roll a 5, it's really good for you, because if you have spread +3, -3, when you're rolling a 5, you can actually kill enemies from 2 to 8. that can be really good. So sometimes it's actually better to not necessarily roll a 1 to 10 die, but to actually roll a smaller die and sort of have a spread. Or you can also not have a spread. You can also use something called a nudge, which just sort of increases the value. So for example, now we're going to get enemies with numbers of 1 to 10. And let's say that I didn't have enough enough 10 die, right? So then instead I could put an 8 here and do a nudge plus 2, which is going to mean that I'm going to be rolling from 3 to 10. However, because of the spread, I can still sort of get the number 1. It's just not going to be as likely. So for example, if you look at the median, we would for example see that, oh, actually we don't get 1 that often, but we would see this was about around 5. We would see that this would be maybe around 10. Then we would know that it would be a good idea to use the 1 to 8 die and the nudge a little bit instead. Now we're going to get a lot of 5, so we could... Yeah, so another option here would be, yeah, this actually might not be a bad time to go for like 1 to 8, maybe give a nudge plus 1 or something. But we have a 10 die, so we're just going to place that there. I can also get a lot of upgrades, so let me place another burst tower because I really like those. You cannot place, you can see these little darkened spaces. You cannot place 2 towers of the same type next to each other, so you cannot have 2 attacking towers, which is the burst and precision, next to each other, or 2 effect towers, which is the freeze and the sabotage. So let me just place this one. Maybe here. Oh, actually, it's not the best placement. Let's place it over here. And we can upgrade it to the highest level, really, because why not? And let's place a freezing tower, just so I can show you. Freezing tower is effective over here. I think it's just going to slow down the enemies who move through that place. We can increase it for attack spread or range spread. But okay, now we don't have any more 10 die. So we know that the enemies are most likely going to have a spread around 5. So I think, and this gives me, what kind of spread do you give me? Plus minus 3. So I think we'll go with 6 and we'll do plus 1. And now if you click on this tower, you can actually see that we can get numbers minimum from 1 to 10. But with the absolute values, with the spread. But we're very often going to roll something between, we can only roll things between 2 and 7. So we're almost always going to hit a number 5. Unless we roll something really... Actually, we're always going to hit a number 5, because if you roll 2, plus 3 is 5, if you roll 7, minus 3 is 4. So with this dice, every time it's going to take a number 5. So this is fantastic with the way the median works. As for the freezing tower, let me give you an 8. And we have enough of a spread again, so we can go. So you can use these sort of tricks, like not just go for the specific like die. See, we're getting all the 5s because we are always going to get a number 5. You might not always get a 10. That's not how this particular tower works, but you can always get a 5. Now again, I love math, so this is fun for me. This game, I just want to like make it clear that this game is not as complicated as it might seem when I explain it to you. It's just I like numbers, so I like to use these kind of tricks. You can just go for a die from 1 to 10 or 1 to 12 if you don't have 1 to 10 and just not stress about it. Like, this is a fun game, but if you like numbers, you can get into it and it's great. Also, if we had escaped enemies, which we don't have, because yeah, makes me really happy. You can sort of look like which kind of numbers are sort of escaping and see, okay, well, maybe I'm not so good at getting numbers 10, so maybe I should work on that, you know, so that can be really cool. Again, we're going to get numbers from 1 to 10. We get pretty good numbers around 5. We get some number 10s, so we might want to, cancel. Might want to work on that. But I think let's just upgrade the towers that we have. Let's upgrade this. Oh, we can increase range. Oh, but I think, does the new range include what I have, or am I only going to have this place? And I think it includes what I have, right? Yes, okay. So we get, it's not really that great for me here, but I guess we'll stick to it. Like, it's not, I don't really need this kind of a range, but okay. And you, could I upgrade you to the highest level? Oh yeah, this is good because this can hit enemies over here, which is quite nice. And you, can I upgrade you? I could get an extra range. Let's get extra range. Why not? Let's go a little bit closer over there. And we'll call more enemies and let us go. Let us begin. I love the tower that takes the 5s. This one's so good. I'm going to build a precision tower just so we can see it, but I personally feel like the burst towers are so much superior. The good thing about precision towers is that they shoot faster, but because they don't have such a high spread, I just don't like them as much. But it's okay, I'll build it for you so we can see it. Don't worry about it. Oh, this tower is just rocking the world. Only the 10s have a like chance of getting through, but with this sort of sabotaging tower, we can actually get the number 10 to go to 9, which we're more likely to hit. So, you know, it's helping us out. Is this 10 gonna go through? It's not gonna go. Okay, so now I promised you a precision tower. Let's place a precision tower. We could place it like so. Yeah, let's place it like that. And if you look at it, we only had 1 enemy per roll, and we have no attack spread. But it's much faster. So, well, it's not faster now because the others are upgraded, but it would have been faster if the others weren't upgraded. So let me increase your range and your attack speed. Now it's going to be pretty fast, but it still only hits 1 enemy per roll. Now, we don't have a 1 to 10 die, so we'll go 1 to 8. Now the problem with this is that this has no spread. So we're going to have to go 1 to 12. And what we could do is we could do -2 nudge. So we can actually only get numbers from 1 to 10 now because of the -2 nudge. We are a lot more likely to get 1s here, however, because if you roll 1, 2, or 3, it's going to stay at 1 essentially. So yeah. But it's going to go much faster, but yeah, you can see it's going really, really fast. Actually, it's going very fast. Maybe I shouldn't have bad-mouthed that tower. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, my burst tower is better, but like it's trying, okay? You gotta give it points for trying. You can also sort of hit, you know, when you right-click and it has like a superpower, you can use the superpower. We don't always need to use the superpower because our towers are cool. Because we're good with numbers and with tower defense games. If you watch me play a different tower defense game, you know what I'm talking about. Alright, we're gonna get some more enemies. Let's just call for the next wave. We can do this thing. We could shoot this. Oh, that was a bit of a waste. We're killing them the moment they get out. Yeah, the precision tower is actually very cool. When it's upgraded, it does a lot of good stuff. Can I upgrade you some more? Yeah, I could increase your range. Oh, double tap. I'm not sure what double tap. Oh yeah, double tap means we can now hit 2 enemies per hit, which is actually pretty good because considering how quickly it goes, allowing it to hit 2 enemies this often might even allow me to hit more enemies than this one. You are hitting 2.25 speed and 6 enemies, and you've got, so you can go 9 times in the amount this goes once, I presume. I presume that's how the attack speed works. Okay, we've got 1 to 14, so we gotta focus on that. So this might actually be better. Wait, remove dice. Oh, I already removed dice, that's the problem. Remove dice from there, and from there, and from this. Okay. Now we've got 1 to 14, so we'll have to do stuff. Okay, we've got some nudging somewhere. Nudge value 1. Okay, not here. So let's place a 12 here. We can do 1 to 16, that's fine. Okay, place a 12 there. 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 I'm gonna place a 10 and a 4 here. So we get 14. Now this one, the problem is this one has a notch -2, so we're gonna have to go with the 20. But, you know, we might often get numbers above 14 that are kind of useless. I could notch it down, but we might, yeah, let's notch it down. Let's notch it down to 15. It's still a bit of an overkill, but it should be okay. Can I upgrade? Yeah, I can upgrade this, so let's do that. And we'll get super freeze, which makes them stop, I think. Stop for a second, we'll see. I know that the superpower of the freezing tower is stopping them. I am not 100% sure if Oh, you're not doing anything because I didn't give you a dice. Did I not give you a dice? No, I did give you a dice. Are you not stopping them? Well, because all the other towers are already killing them. Well, the vulnerability tower is really good. Like Sabotage Tower, I really, really like that one. Our towers are rocking it, I've got to say. And also the change of sizes is really fun because especially once you get to higher numbers, you might want to combine, because you can see we could easily get 14 with the 10 and 4, right? But we just didn't have enough of the other die to combine that. So having a bigger size could be really cool here. It's not necessary, like we can make do with what we have, but I think it's nice. So let's play something with the bigger size. Size 4. Size 4 burst tower. Oh, that is interesting. Place it like that. Let's place it like that. We can place a 8 and a 6, which is going to give us 14. And we can upgrade it to the highest level. Do we want to do a slightly bigger precision tower, maybe? Like precision 2? Oh, this is an ugly shape. This is not going to work for me. What is this? Oh, this is actually quite... I quite like that. Let's do that. And we'll give you a little extra range, attack speed, and we'll give you an 8 and a 6. And the freezing tower needs a 12, I guess. Yeah, it has enough of a range, that's fine. Oh, also you can speed it up, obviously, and you can go a little bit faster. Now, once you get to wave 10, which is what we have, I believe it's wave 10, you unlock the next area, the loops area, so we could go there. But I kind of like this one. We might I wanna kind of keep moving a little bit, see what else we can get here. Now how more difficult it's gonna. I love that this tower is just taking it the moment it moves in, just like destroying this thing. Okay, now we've got 1 to 20. That is going to be interesting. So we gotta remove all the dice from everywhere. I like to, I mean, you don't technically have to, but I think it's easiest if you just remove it. So let's place 20, 20, 20, 20, and 20. Okay, and into our bigger towers, we'll have to go with double 10, and I didn't remove it properly. Well, actually, we have 8 and 6, which is 14, so we could just add an extra 6, which is going to get it up to 20 anyways. And we could increase the speed and the range, and let's go. Let us go. We didn't have single enemy escape, which is very, very nice. Oh, 18, no. Okay, I got worried. I got worried about that. I know I have the extra tower here that can technically rock it, but that 18 worried me a little bit. Oh yeah, they're very much slowed down at this long tower. Okay, it's good. It's all good. Let's make them all vulnerable. Oh, actually, yeah, the Sabotage Tower, if you right-click, it works as an attack tower for the moment it actually kills them. This, when you right-click on it, it stops the enemies. As for these two, I think it just hits more enemies or something. I'm not quite sure what the superpower on these two is. This is a really nice game. I love the focus on the numbers, on the dice rolling. It's a really fun game. And I feel like if you know, you can play it a bit more casual, you know, like just looking at the right die number combination, that's it. Or you can sort of play with the, you know, like I want to focus on the medium, you know. So yeah, so this is Dice Defenders, and you can click on the right top to watch me play Defending Territory, or you can click on the right bottom to watch me play Defend the Keep, which are both tower defense games. I'll see you in one of those. Bye bye.